my friends, and welcome to my channel. So it's almost American Thanksgiving, and I came back from a long day of work looking forward to having a drink at home before hanging out with family. Then I realized that several months ago I locked up all of my bottles with bottle puzzle locks. So I thought it would be a fun idea to show you each type of bottle puzzle lock that I have, solve it, and show you how to set up each one. Well, the problem is if I remember how to do it. But I especially wanted to do this because there's one puzzle that is quite fun to solve, but had the hardest time trying to figure out how to set it up when I first got it. There was no information or clear instructions out there to assist me to do this, and it was super frustrating. But I eventually figured it out on my own, and I am hoping that this will be helpful for you too. So I also set up the puzzles from the easiest puzzles to the hardest ones to show you from left to right, and the last ones being my favorite puzzles to solve. So we'll take out this one first and show you how to solve it. So this is the easiest puzzle, and the goal is to remove this rope so we can take the top off. And for me to make it more challenging, I had to wedge this ring on because you were able to pass through all these things really easily, making the puzzle really easy, way too easy. So pretty much to solve this puzzle, you need to take this loop from the ball and you need to pass it through this larger hole on this rectangle right here. You can see a smaller one on the bottom, so just look out for the bigger one. So pass it right under the knot and then just pull it over that knot with the string that was already there. And all you have to do now is pull it apart and it just separates, and you pull this down and lift the top up and your bottle is free. So you can see it was pretty easy. And this is the ring that I wedged through, and it's supposed to rest like that on top of the ball. But you can see that you can pass everything pretty much through this hole, so it makes the puzzle pretty easy and not as fun as the other ones. But luckily, this ring was the exact size as this hole, so I was able to wedge it in there properly to make it a bit more challenging. But now I can show you how to put it back together, and it's pretty much exactly the same way. You just take the loop again, push it through that larger hole like before, and you pull it up and over this knot, and you just pull it again, and it'll tighten it up. And that is it. That's how you solve and set up this bottle lock puzzle. So we'll put this one aside, and then we will get the second puzzle out. And this one's a bit more fun. It's a little easier as well once you figure it out. You can see all these blocks are intertwined with each other, locking the bottle up. So pretty much the way to solve this is that we have to put the second piece somehow underneath this back piece, and we have to maneuver this front piece and get it around this area here to free it up. So we slid it underneath, and that means we should be able to pull this piece out and pretty much pull everything else forward, releasing the bottle. So pretty easy once you know what you're doing. And to put it back the same way, put this piece on, put the second piece on, but underneath the back piece. And then we will slide this through and push it over this area right here and pull that forward, and it'll all lock by itself. Alright, so we'll put the second puzzle away and we'll get the third one out. Now this one is definitely more fun than the first and the second, and I think it is more common. You can see it around the internet more. You can easily purchase this anywhere. So to solve this puzzle, we need to take this square and pretty much try to pass that through this rectangle right here, through this gap. and it leaves this ball here, and then we need to pull this rectangle through and then push the ball right behind it. And then we need to put this on this lip right here on the front, pass the ball through the front, and then pull it off. And then you can pull this part off and lift it up and free the bottle. And now to put this together, push this on the lip all the way to the back. And let's see if I remember how to put this on. Push this on the lip also, I think this way, and pass it through, I think the other way, this way. And then we need to just pull that rectangle piece forward. And then pretty much like the beginning, we need to get some slack to push this ball through the other end of that hole. So let's push this ball through, followed by that rectangle piece again. And push it all the way through. And then we'll put the square piece again through the rectangle hole. And put this rectangle piece back in the center and get some slack and pull it a little bit. And there you go. That is how you set up this third bottle lock puzzle. So now let me take out the fourth bottle lock puzzle. And for this puzzle, you can see that this is locked by two rectangle pieces intertwined by a piece of rope and a bolt going through it all. But I'm going to move the camera closer so we can get a better view of how to solve and set up this puzzle. So this is the fourth puzzle, and again, this is my favorite one because it is challenging and it confuses me every time to solve and set it back. And there are two ways to actually set up this puzzle, so I'm going to show you the way that I like to do it, and then the second way. So for the first way, the first thing I need to do is pull some slack from this hole right here to get it to the other side. And I need to pull some more slack from this hole. And it's going in between these two rectangle pieces right here. So I'm going to pull the slack from this hole right now. And there's this loop here, I hope you can see it, right here, that I need to pull the rest of the slack through. And now I have to take this loop and pretty much pass it around both of these rectangles like this. And there's really two ways to do it at this point. I can take it through here and pass it underneath or through the bolt, and I think the solutions will be the same. But for this, I'm going to pass it through this bolt right here. But I'm going to use some tweezers because these holes are actually a bit tight to pass the rope through. And now I need to take the string on the other side of this bolt and pull it through. So it's pretty much going on the other side of the bolt, and you can see it coming through the other side of this right here. And you just kind of pull it all the way through. So now, since it's all the way through, I can take this string and pretty much pass it over to this side. And then I'll pull the slack from this other side through this hole, and I'll pull it through the big hole completely, which will have it end up between these two rectangles. And I'll take this and pass it underneath this bottom rectangle. And now it's pretty much free from there. So I can just take it out of all these holes. This one, and then this one, and then this big one. And then pass it through this hole right here. And just drop these pieces out. And take out this bolt. Unscrew this. And we'll lift it. And there you go. It's free. And now to put it back together, you take this and put it right on top and screw it. The easy part. Tighten it and align it. And now we'll take the bolt and put it right through. And now we have one rectangle with a string attached to it already. And one without it. So we'll put the one without it first. And then we will put the one with the string right underneath it. And then we'll pass it through this bottom hole right here. And now you can see it resting on the rope, so I don't have to hold it anymore. And now I'll pass it on the other side up through this big hole of the second rectangle. And then we'll pull the slack. And we'll pass it through this hole right above the second rectangle. And then again through this little hole. And then we're going to take this loop and pass it on both sides between the two rectangles. And then we're going to pass it through the big hole of the second one on the back side, right here. And pretty much pass it through the whole thing to lock it up completely. And again, the hole here is pretty tight on the bolt, so I'm going to use tweezers to push it up. Alright, and then I'm going to pass it through the bolt. And loop it over the other side. And pull it all the way through. And then I'm going to keep it right here and pretty much pull all the slack. So first from the bottom area of the second rectangle, and then from the side of the second rectangle. So you can see that it is tight on there. And then to finish it off, I'm going to pull it from the bottom of the first rectangle to complete the setup. And now you can see that the bottle is secured and locked, and no other way to get it out unless you solve this puzzle. So the second way to do this, and I think it is how it's instructed to, and I'll show you that real quick. So there's this hole that they never instruct you to use. So that is why I do the first way. So to start, we put this on as we usually do, as well as this. And then we put this loop through this hole on the bottom, right here. And then we kind of weave this through this second rectangle. And then we come around and then go up the second rectangle's larger hole. And then we'll pull it all the way through and just adjust it a little bit, like here. Now the only issue I have now is that I can go over the bolt, or I could simply just put it all the way around and just pull the slack through. And so I did it like this for quick purposes to show you, but you can also go over the bolt and then just pull all the slack through, and there you go, it's locked once again. But you can also see that they never use this hole, which I find kind of silly to have in the first place, but I think there's just different ways you can set it up, which is kind of fun and entertaining. Okay, so now I'm just going to quickly take it apart. Alright, so we'll finally take the bolt off, unscrew this, and then the top off, and then my bottle is free. And that was the second way to do it. But those were my 4 bottle lock puzzles, and I hope you enjoyed them. So cheers to you, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and check out my channel for more puzzle solving videos, and I will see you next time.